Today, men are following all sorts of crazy trends. Not just fashion trends, but trends in lifestyle and behavior. But a gentleman doesn't follow trends. He walks the timeless path. So in today's video, we are going to address 8 modern trends that every gentleman must avoid and what he should be doing instead. Hello, my name is James, and I am on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. The first modern trend that every gentleman should avoid is Gen Z slang and TikTok speak. Now, I totally understand that language has always evolved. Otherwise, we'd still be speaking in Shakespearean English. What I see instead, however, is men in their 20s, 30s, and even beyond using silly TikTok slang. I'm not even going to use these words, but I have some friends that are a little younger than me, and they will say things or text me something, and I genuinely have no idea what they are talking about. You know who you are if you're watching. Now, this can be funny at times. Some of these terms are somewhat inventive or creative, but if you are going to use them, please just keep them to your social circle and never let it spill over to your professional dialogue. To be a good communicator, you don't need to use slang terms. You don't even need a particularly extensive or elaborate vocabulary. You just need to communicate your ideas clearly in a way that every man can understand. I must be one of the few men left under 35 that doesn't have a tattoo. And I'm not particularly against tattoos, but what I would warn against is this trend of having many meaningless tattoos. Now, it's no surprise that tattoo removal is becoming an increasingly popular business, but rather than go through all of that, why not reconsider how you wish to express your values, your ideas, how to tell your story, rather than just covering yourself in ink? I think there was a time when a tattoo represented a certain rebelliousness, a certain individualism, which I personally identify with, but today it's almost the opposite, because to get a tattoo is to follow the herd. It is to conform to what everybody else is doing. So instead, find another way to express your values or to tell your story. This could be through journaling. It could be by wearing a family heirloom piece like a watch or a ring. Or simply express yourself, as men have always done throughout history, with their clothing choices. Another modern trend that I certainly hope is condemned to the history books soon is vaping. Now, originally vaping and e-cigarettes were intended as a replacement to get people to stop smoking cigarettes. But what's actually happening instead is we see many young men and women just start vaping. Now, some of you might think I'm a hypocrite because I am a lover of cigars, but I think that the cigar represents something very different from what a vape does. For me, a cigar represents time spent with friends, bringing other men together over a cigar, or giving myself some time for reflection and peace as I sit outside and smoke my cigar for an hour or so. There's also a beautiful culture and history surrounding cigars. Vapes are simply trash. I'm not afraid to say that it's actually a statement of lower self-respect if you're a man who vapes. Another absurd behavioral trend I've seen is this practice of bed rot. If you're not familiar with the term, bed rot simply means lying in bed or lying on the sofa covered in blankets, scrolling aimlessly or binge-watching TV series for hours on end. This is no way for a young man to spend his time or his energy. Instead, a young man needs routines. He needs habits and regular practices that forge the best version of him. We all need moments of rest, and I'll get on to some better ways that a man can rest and restore himself in just a moment. But just think how it would look to a third person watching you in bed, doom scrolling, binge watching a TV series, eating in bed. It's just no behavior for a self-respecting man. One of the most bizarre trends to emerge over the last year or two has been the species, maybe we'll say, of the performative male. If you're not familiar with this, this is a man who will, in public, exhibit behaviors that he believes are attractive or at least non-threatening towards women. These may include things such as drinking matcha, reading feminist literature, carrying a tote bag, wearing a labubu, wearing a t-shirt with Taylor Swift on it, doing things in an attempt to capture a woman's attention and maybe even get her to approach you and strike up a conversation with you. But the message that these behaviors actually send to a woman is that you are insecure. You have no centered sense of self. You're not confident to express who you really are. If you are going to read in public, nothing wrong with that. Read a book you genuinely enjoy. Read a book that you would read at home. Wear clothes that make you feel good. I have discussed in the past that women will typically find a man in a suit and tie more attractive than a man wearing sweatpants. But is that the reason I recommend men dress well? Absolutely not. I recommend men dress in a way that makes them feel confident, in a way that makes them feel good. And if women are attracted to it, then of course that's a fantastic byproduct. But I believe that also women are attracted to it because it makes a man more confident. And confidence is, of course, the most attractive trait of all. Another modern trend that every man must avoid is this practice of ghosting, or simply disappearing. This seems to happen particularly in the dating market, where a man will be too scared to express his feelings. A man will be too scared to be honest with a woman, or frankly honest with himself. This is perhaps the most important one of this whole video, because it's very well not treating yourself as you should, not giving yourself the self-respect, but to disrespect other people is truly classless behavior. Even if you've only been on 1 or 2 dates, every man can grow a pair and just send a text message saying that he doesn't feel the spark or a situation has changed. Don't leave people in the dark. I'm sure you've been ghosted at some point if you're on the dating market. I've been ghosted many times, hopefully not too many, but it doesn't feel good. So don't do that to somebody else. Doom scrolling and spending excessive amounts of time on social media has become perhaps the most unhealthy addiction of our generation. Men have always struggled with things like gambling, with alcohol, but we find today that cross-generationally, men are struggling with phone addiction and with social media. Instead, a gentleman finds more mindful and intentional ways to relax. I recommend that you disconnect more often. Actually turn the phone off. Go read a chapter of a book. Go watch a movie even. But if you're going to watch a movie, stay engaged in that film. Go to the cinema, watch it on the big screen. But better yet, go outside, touch some grass, as they say. Go to a new restaurant, go to a museum, engage in a game of golf, meet other men, do something social and productive. And the final trend that every gentleman must avoid is playing video games. I know that many people watching this will enjoy playing video games here and there, and I'm not saying that you can never pick up a controller, you can never enjoy this hobby again, but the sad truth is, many young men are replacing real-life accomplishments, real-life progress, with accomplishments and progress made in a video game. When I was a little boy, one of my favorite board games was The Game of Life. You might remember this game. And today I see my life somewhat as a game. There are things that you can level up in. There are ways you can improve. There are new realms to go and explore. So if you do enjoy video games and you relate to the sense of progress, growth, adventure that you get from that game, try translating that philosophy to real life and explore how you can improve your social life, your professional life, your health, and also simply fun games in real life, whether that's joining a team and playing a sport, whether that's getting more involved in fitness in the gym, or you could even do something like dancing, like cooking, like baking. Even things that aren't traditionally seen as masculine are still much better than playing a virtual video game. So, gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed this video on the 8 modern trends that every gentleman must avoid. Let me know down in the comments one trend that you have recently given up, one bad behavior that you've turned your back on, and what you've replaced it with. This might inspire another man watching and reading to make a much needed change. If you want to level up your social life, if you want to improve your network, and finally be surrounded by other modern gentlemen, men on your wavelength, we have our members club. The link is in the description to apply for that and join us today. We've got some fantastic events happening. So if you do come aboard, then hopefully we'll be shaking hands in person before too long. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.